Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So a couple of years ago, I made a review on the Amex Platinum card. As you can see here, the Amex Platinum card. I made a video on it a couple of years ago. I absolutely recommended it. But guys, let's face it, the world has changed now due to COVID, and a lot of the travel-related benefits are no longer used or utilized to the fullest. So given today's reality, I'm gonna answer the question, is the Amex Platinum worth it in 2021? Please note, this is for the Canadian version of the card, but for all my American viewers, feel free to keep watching because the methodology that I use to determine the value will be very similar, so you can apply that to your card. I'll be applying worst case scenarios in my assumptions. That way you'll know really if this card is worth it or not. And at the end of the video, I'll be sharing my own year-end summary of expenses so you can actually see how many points that I earned, and I can tell you how I spent the points so you can actually see my value with the card, just to give a more realistic estimate of the card's worth. So first off, this card comes with an annual fee of $699. So that is the value that we will need to be making up by using this card. And right off the bat, Amex does give you a $200 annual travel credit, which if you really wanted to, you could use it to book a refundable hotel on Amex Travel, cancel the hotel, and you'll still keep the $200 just because the $200 acts as a statement credit, which is independent from your travel booking. So if you really wanted, it's a free $200 for you. So essentially we have $499 to make up for in value. Let's now talk about earning points on your Platinum card. There are different multipliers based on the different category of expenditures. So for dining, it's 3 times. For travel-related expenses, it's 2 times, and for every other purchase, it's 1 time. So as I mentioned before, we're doing worst-case scenarios, so I'm going to assume that all points that you earned were through the 1x multiplier. Now, how much are points worth? Now, there are a variety of ways to redeem points, such as statement credits, redeeming points on Amex Travel through a fixed point system, buying merchandise through Amex, and then also transferring to airline partners such as Air Canada. So as mentioned before, we're doing the worst-case scenario, so we're going to assume that you only redeem statement credits, so that gives you a value of 1 cent per point. So given this assumption, we are assuming you're earning 1x multiplier and 1 cent per point, which means to get $499 worth of value, you will need to be spending $50,000 per year. Now, I realize this is highly unrealistic. That is why I've included my own personal anecdotes so you can see my expenditures, how I redeem the points, so that we get a more realistic expectation of how much value that your card is worth. So I've included both 2019 and 2020 year-end summaries, and I just want to note that 2020 was a bit of an unusual year as far as my expenditures was concerned. I normally don't spend that much, but Amex was given a great deal during the summertime where you would earn double your points as well as statement credits were worth double the value. So essentially I just spent more because I would redeem more points through statement credits, and I didn't really think I'd be traveling anytime soon, so I was like, why not? I'll just use some points right now because I don't know when I'm gonna travel next. So in 2020, let me look here. So as you can see from my expenditures, this is how many points I earned. 5,637 from travel, 19,356 from dining, and 37,366 from everyday purchases, for a total of 62,359 points for the year 2020. In 2019, it's not perfect since I didn't spend in January and February, but I earned 6,721 points from travel, 13,237 points from dining, and 12,628 points from everyday purchases, for a total of 32,586 points. Now, I only redeem my points through the airline transfers, never the statement credits, except for that one summertime deal because it was great. So let's run through an example of what that point value is. So I took the same flight from Vancouver to Toronto, looked at the cost of it in dollars and points, and calculated the value of the points from that. And roughly that makes 2.2 cents, which I got by dividing the $535 base fee and the 22,400 points if I redeem with points. So that means in 2020, I got a value of $1,371, and in 2019, I got a value of $716. So as you can see from a purely monetary standpoint, I've gotten more benefits than the cost of the card in both years. But I also want to talk about some non-monetary benefits which I've used in the past, how they might be affected with COVID, just so that way that can impact your whole decision-making process. First, the best perk, the Centurion lounges. These lounges are so great. They're in most major airports in the United States. The food quality is proper. The drinks, they're crafted by a mixologist. So yeah, very great options at the Centurion lounges. Now with COVID, some lounges aren't open. You have to check online to see which ones are open or not. And I actually haven't traveled this year, so I don't know like how the lounges are as far as like amenities is concerned, like how they're doing the food service, drink service, etc, etc. So if you've been in a Centurion lounge this year, let me know. I'm very curious to actually hear how it's going for you. Also, with the card, you do get access to priority pass lounges, but honestly guys, I don't really like these lounges. So I don't really put too much value on this, even though the membership, if you didn't have an Amex Platinum for a priority pass membership, does cost a lot of money. So I don't know why people are paying it. But people are, and it's worth a lot of money, so I guess that's a perk for the Amex Platinum too. Second is the Concierge. So I've used the Concierge in the past for dining reservations, getting concert tickets, and then also just general tourist recommendations when traveling to a new place. Obviously, if you're not traveling due to COVID and stuff like that, not as much use for the Concierge. But if you still use them for dining reservations, just note that a lot of cities and stuff do have capacity restraints, I guess, because of COVID. So the Amex Concierge really has their hands tied. There's nothing they can do at that point. So I guess don't really expect a lot from them if there's other restrictions in place. Amex can't really override that, but yeah, that's just something to note, that all the things I've used them for in the past. Third, you have access to Amex's Find Hotels and Resorts portal online to book hotels. And pretty much what will happen is you get extra amenities. So you might get like a dining credit or like spa credit or something along those lines. And then also you get gold status at a lot of hotel chains such as Marriott and the Hilton. Fourth, you can run this card up. This card has no limit, and also too, you can check your spending power on Amex, and for whatever reason, they've given me $65,000 to play with in one transaction, and that is an absolute absurd amount. I don't know why Amex would grant a kid this much money to play with, but whatever. I guess if I come into a pinch, then I guess I know I'm saved. Fifth is Amex offers. So these are like purely random throughout the year. So some instances that I've had is like a $250 credit to use on groceries or Uber Eats, like $5 off of Amazon, $100 off of Dyson if you spend like $500. So like different kind of incentives to get you spending more money and get some cash back. Six, honestly, it's just a flex having a metal card. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Last is the travel insurance and purchase protection. Both are very good on this card. Honestly though, didn't really impact my decision-making process. If you're curious to learn more about that, I will leave it down below, because yeah, you can go more in depth and really than what I could explain in this video without it dragging on too long. Yeah, I know, it didn't really impact my decision, but it is nice to have just in case something does happen. So, in conclusion, is this card worth it in 2021? If we are only considering quantitative factors, it might be hard to justify this cost, especially if we aren't able to redeem for travel. Just because if you saw from my example in 2019, if I didn't redeem travel, like I wouldn't have made up the value of this card. And then there's the fact of not utilizing the lounges and the concierge to their full effect, just given COVID right now. So that's also something else to keep in mind too. However, I will be keeping this card still, just because I believe things will turn around later in this year, and if not this year, 2022. And I'm fine just saving up my points and being able to spend them in later years as I accrue them, because yeah, if I use them for travel, then obviously the benefits do outweigh the costs, and I'll just have more points later on in the future to play with. And you know, Amex will send me offers here and there for random things to just, I don't know, sweeten the pot a bit. But for those of you who don't have a card, I would encourage you guys to potentially wait just until COVID chills out. You can use more of the travel related benefits, as well as maybe the welcome bonus might go back up to normal. Right now it's currently 25,000 points. But in the past, it's been 60,000 points if you were to use my referral link. But obviously that's not the case now. But I'm optimistic that things will change in the future, just because in the US, their welcome bonus is 75,000 points. So hopefully Canada follows suit soon. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is a bit more of a financially responsible video, given my last two were gambling. But if you made it this far, leave a like on the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.